Are the Deep Ones real? If so, who are they? Hello everyone, and welcome to Storyteller's Codex. Today we will be embarking on a journey to the hidden depths of Westeros, where lies one of the most chilling and mysterious legends in the entire world of A Song of Ice and Fire, the Deep Ones. Unlike dragons or White Walkers, these beings are veiled in secrecy, shrouded in ancient myth, cryptic references, and unsettling whispers of something far older than man's dominion over the world. But who are they, really? Are they ancient sea gods? Are they something even more sinister? Stick around as we dive deep into this aquatic enigma, unravelling the layers of lore from A Song of Ice and Fire, its rich historical texts, and even some fan theories that will leave you questioning every shadow by the sea. Let's get started. To understand the Deep Ones, we first have to understand where the myth comes from. The concept of the Deep Ones is rooted in the folklore and religious practices of certain seafaring cultures in A Song of Ice and Fire. The most notable connection is, of course, the worship of the drowned god by the Ironborn. This god demands offerings of drowned men, and its mantra is clear: what is dead may never die, but rises again, harder and stronger. While many see this as symbolic of the Ironborn's warrior lifestyle, others think it's a clue to something deeper, something quite literal. The Ironborn's faith in the drowned god isn't just cultural, it's ritualistic and eerily similar to older eldritch religions. The act of drowning and rebirth is not so far removed from tales of ancient aquatic entities found in the books. In A Feast for Crows, Aeron Greyjoy's visions during his drowning experiences are haunting. He sees a tall figure, shadowed beneath the waves with eyes like lamps burning in the depths. Could this be the drowned god itself? Or perhaps a deep one? If so, it suggests that the drowned god is not some abstract concept, but a real being tied to the Deep Ones. George R.R. Martin's inspirations are no secret. The Deep Ones are a clear nod to H.P. Lovecraft's mythos, specifically the Deep Ones from The Shadow over Innsmouth. The fish-like, human hybrid creatures who rise from the sea and corrupt the bloodlines of men are echoed in the Greyjoys and the people of the Iron Islands. The similarities are too close to be coincidence. Like Lovecraft's Deep Ones, Martin's versions are ancient, associated with water, and have a deeply unsettling relationship with human bloodlines. Here's where things get really strange. Unlike dragons or White Walkers, there's no direct visual description of a Deep One in A Song of Ice and Fire, but there are subtle clues. Mr. Theron's writings mention half-human, half-fish creatures dwelling beneath the sea. While this could be dismissed as Ironborn sailors' superstition, Aeron's vision of shadowed shapes beneath the waves is harder to ignore. Now let's entertain the idea of a humanoid, aquatic hybrid. Stories of fish-like humanoids have existed in Westeros's folklore for ages, especially in the tales of the Storm God's battle with the Drowned God. Given the Ironborn's reverence for drowned men and their tendency to describe the sea as a living, malevolent force, it's easy to see where people might begin to imagine half-human, half-fish beings as the enemies or agents of their faith. This might surprise you, but there's one other group in Westeros who've been described in a way that's a little, shall we say, fishy. The Crannog Men. These reclusive swamp dwellers have amphibious tendencies, are smaller than average, and live in bogs and marshes. Some theories suggest they may share ancestry with the Deep Ones, or that the Deep Ones' influence extends beyond the sea, perhaps even inland. If the Deep Ones exist, where would we find traces of them? Well, two key locations are often mentioned when it comes to ancient unknown horrors: Valyria and Asshai. These ancient eldritch places are home to untold horrors. Some theorize that the Valyrians' knowledge of blood magic may have come from contact with the Deep Ones, while Ashi's unnatural glow suggests magic tied to something primordial beneath the sea. Here's one of the biggest pieces of evidence for the Deep Ones: the Sea Stone Chair. Found on the shores of Old Wick, this throne of black, oily stone is said to have been crafted by strangers from the sea, long before the arrival of the first men. Its design is non-human and eerily similar to Lovecraft's descriptions of Cyclopean stonework. Is this the work of the Deep Ones? Some believe it's a throne they left behind, a sign of their dominion over the sea. Prophecies and visions are one of the most cryptic elements of A Song of Ice and Fire, but they often hint at the greater forces at play. Aaron Greyjoy's vision of drowned halls with whispering voices is a haunting clue. Are these voices his ancestors? Or are they something older? Something deeper? The Storm God and the Drowned God are two central deities in the faith of the Ironborn, often seen as adversaries in an eternal struggle. Many believe that this conflict is symbolic of the battle between the sea and the sky, but it may go much deeper. Some theorists suggest that the Storm God represents a celestial force of order, while the Drowned God, associated with the Deep Ones, represents chaos rising from below. This dichotomy reflects the classic above versus below myth seen in many ancient religions. If the Drowned God is indeed one of the Deep Ones, then the Storm God may be the unseen force that resists them, much like Hela and the Great Other in the broader struggle between fire and ice. Beyond Westeros, legends of giant sea creatures known as leviathans abound. From the krakens of the Ironborn to the great sea dragons said to prowl the shivering sea, leviathans have been feared and worshipped in equal measure. But could these monstrous beings be part of the same aquatic pantheon as the Deep Ones? Some mesters speculate that these beasts might be servants or guardians of ancient underwater realms. If the Deep Ones are intelligent, aquatic beings with their own civilization, it's possible that leviathans could be their equivalent of dragons, powerful semi-mythical creatures used to defend their underwater cities. Here's a theory that might blow your mind. Could the Deep Ones be to the sea what the children of the forest are to the land? Both are ancient pre-human species tied to nature in profound ways. The children control the trees and forests, while the Deep Ones could control the sea. Both are elusive, secretive, and associated with older, darker magics. The first men made pacts with the children of the forest. Could it be that early Ironborn or Valyrians made similar pacts with the Deep Ones? Perhaps the Seastone Chair was part of such an arrangement, a relic of that long-forgotten accord. The idea that Westeros's land, sea and sky are each governed by their own primordial species is a tantalizing thought. The Seastone Chair is one of the most mysterious artifacts in all of Westeros. It's described as being made of oily black stone and carved in a way that defies explanation. Maesters and scholars have argued over its origin for centuries. Many believe it predates the First Men, and some even claim it was left behind by strangers from the sea. Fans have long speculated that this stranger was in fact the Deep Ones. The oily black stone is also found in other locations, like the ruins of Valyria and the base of the High Tower in Old Town. If all these places are linked, then it's possible the Deep Ones left traces of their presence in key points of power across the world. Did they once rule, or was this chair a gift to the early Ironborn in exchange for some unknown service? Here's a theory that doesn't get enough attention. House Velaryon, the ancient House of Driftmark, may have a secret link to the Deep Ones. The Velaryons are Valyrian in origin, but they've lived by the sea for generations, intermarried with other seafarers, and are known for their mastery of naval warfare. Unlike the Targaryens, they seem more tied to the sea than the sky. Some fans speculate that the Velaryons' affinity for the sea, and their decision to settle on an island like Driftmark, could hint at a deeper, older connection to the Deep Ones. Driftmark's history is murky, and its proximity to the Gullet, a vital seaborne trade route, could be a strategic position tied to these aquatic entities. Could House Velaryon be descendants of a bloodline touched by the Deep Ones, much like how the Targaryens are tied to dragons? The Great Other is often viewed as the ultimate nemesis of Rolla, the Lord of Light, a being of cold, darkness, and death. But what if we're missing something? What if the Great Other isn't just associated with the cold of the White Walkers, but also with the abyssal darkness of the deep sea? In many mythologies, darkness is linked with the depths of the ocean, the great unknown. If the Great Other is a primordial force of shadow, then it could be connected to the Deep Ones. After all, the sea is a realm of darkness and mystery. It's possible that the Great Other's influence extends into the depths of the sea, where ancient beings like the Deep Ones dwell. Perhaps the Great Other is not just a force of cold, but of all things unknown and unseen, including the aquatic horrors beneath Westeros's seas. So what is the truth about the Deep Ones? After all the clues, the theories, and the unsettling evidence, the most logical conclusion is that they are a forgotten race of aquatic beings that predate the first men. They may have even predated the children of the forest. Their presence is hinted at in the Seastone Chair, in the strange, oily black stone found in Old Town and Valyria, and in the eerie symbolism present in Ironborn rituals. But here's the twist. They might still be around. If the Deep Ones are immortal or simply long-lived, they could still be lurking in the depths of the Shivering Sea, the Summer Sea or the Sunset Sea. Their whispers might be heard in Aaron Greyjoy's drowning dreams, their forms glimpsed in the shadows of the ocean's floor. They're not just relics of the past, they may be active players in the present. If the Deep Ones are still out there, what role could they play in the future? This is where things get very interesting. We've seen how old, forgotten powers have a way of re-emerging in A Song of Ice and Fire. Just look at the White Walkers, dragons, and even the resurgence of old prophecies. If the world is heading toward an apocalyptic long night, then it's possible that the Deep Ones will rise alongside it. Some fans theorise that Euron Greyjoy is a key figure in this. His ship, the Silence, is crewed by men whose tongues have been removed, and he's seen wearing Valyrian steel armour. Euron's ambitions stretch beyond mortal kingship. He wants to be a god. Could he be the herald of the Deep Ones? His connection to Lovecraftian imagery, the sea, madness and eldritch power, has led many to think he might try to awaken something from the depths. If Euron's plans come to fruition, the Deep Ones could make their grand entrance. So where does that leave us? The Deep Ones remain one of the most enigmatic and under-discussed aspects of A Song of Ice and Fire lore. Unlike dragons or White Walkers, they're not front and centre, but their influence might be far greater than we've ever realised. Their possible connection to the drowned god, the Seastone Chair and House Valerian suggests they've been quietly steering events from the shadows. If they're still active, it's only a matter of time before they rise from the depths, and as we've learned from Aaron Greyjoy's haunting vision, shadows and shapes beneath the waves are never as far away as we'd like to believe. Thanks for watching, and as always, what is dead may never die. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next deep dive into the world of A Song of Ice and Fire.